For my school, of course, I have a big vision, but if it comes to work ethics, a few things are very, very close to my heart. And if I have to break it down, I've already spoken a lot about integrity. That is one major thing for me. For me, I feel it does not matter which curriculum, whether it is our national curriculum CBSE, whether it is IGCSE, whether it is IB, if it is going with the time, if it is progressive in nature, if it is changing itself, it is evolving itself.
Another episode, another story. Let's get started.
Today, the team of Media Shala presents yet another episode of Beyond the Bubble, where our students step into spotlight and interview industry experts and thought leaders and to know more about the behind the scenes. Today, we have the privilege of speaking with someone who has dedicated her life in education and improving today's youth. It is none other than Ms. Sangeeta Kapoor ma'am, the principal of MRIS 46 Gurugram. Sangeeta ma'am's career is no less than one of inspiration and determination. She has spent years in this career developing today's youth and fostering the holistic growth of students. So, it is an honor to have you here with us today, ma'am.
Thank you. Thank you.
Before discussing the school, we would like to know about how did you get into education and what inspired you to be the principal of MRIS?
Well, if I go back, I started my career way back in 1991. So it's almost been more than 3 decades when I started my teaching career. But honestly, I became a teacher by chance. I became an educator by chance. There was a summer job opening, and I had just finished my college and I was awaiting my result when I joined this school, which was, so the word international with schools was being used for the first time with that school. I don't want to name this school, but that's where I started my journey. And I joined them in front office. It was by chance that a teacher was on leave and I was asked to take that classes for a week. And then there was no looking back. That's where I found my true calling, and that's how the journey of an educator started.
Wow, that's such an inspirational story. We are glad to hear about it. So, ma'am, if you could go back in time and tell and give advice to a younger self, what would it be?
Honestly, I draw a lot of inspiration by today's youth. They are aware, they know exactly what they want and what path they want to take. So they're focused. That was something that was missing. We didn't have Google, we didn't have career guidance, we didn't have so many options. So we were just going with the flow wherever it was taking us. If I had to give an advice to myself, I would say that maybe get more focus and know exactly what I wanted at that point in time and then work towards it.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for telling us about it. Now, with the IB curriculum starting this year, what are your expectations with students, and what do you want to improve through this?
See, I'll have to give you a little journey about myself, because after doing about 18 years of CBSE, and I wanted to do something different. That's when IB was stepping into India, though it had been there, but that was when it was becoming very popular, 2011. That's when I joined an IB school and I wanted to know more about different curriculums and international curriculum available today. I've done about 9 years of IB myself, and I'm very impressed with the IB philosophy, but for me, I feel it does not matter which curriculum, whether it is our national curriculum CBSE, whether it is IGCSE, whether it is IB, if it is going with the time, if it is progressive in nature, if it is changing itself, it is evolving itself, and if it is facilitated in the way the today's generation looks at things, then I think any curriculum can be, good for children. So for me, it doesn't matter whether it is CBSE or IB. For me, it is how it is being implemented and what outcomes are we looking at from the children.
Those are such innovative plans, ma'am, and I cannot wait to see them implementing on the school. As you know, the boards exams are approaching for grade 10th and 12th. What would be a piece of advice you would give them to fight against their anxiety or exam pressure?
Honestly, before I give any advice to the students, I would like to give advice to their parents that don't unnecessarily pressurize the children,
Yes.
right? That's one thing that I want to tell parents. And I also want to tell that there is enough and more opportunities available for children beyond just being an engineer or being a doctor. So there is a lot that is there. For children, there are a couple of things that I will say. One, that there is no shortcut to success, right? Hard work is the key. If you have been consistent with your academics, with your studies, you've had a schedule on daily basis, you will not need to put so many hours just before the exam. It doesn't work. So a schedule throughout the year, revising your topics, being very systematic and having a routine is very important. That's one thing. Secondly, because that eases out the pressure during exams, because you know that you have throughout worked hard. Secondly, that very important thing is that whenever you sit down to study, whatever your schedule is, whether it is 2 hours, 3 hours, at a stretch, whatever you plan for yourself, please ensure that you are without a gadget, absolutely without a gadget, and it shouldn't be present. So work with honesty, with integrity, and results will show. So what is required is that you put your whatever you are doing, keep in mind that excellence is the key and hard work. I'm going to put my 100%. I'm going to excel in what I'm doing, and I'm not going to settle for anything which is mediocre, and I'm not going to take shortcuts, and then there is no looking back.
Those were such wise words, ma'am. And I really hope for 10th and 12th to take advice from it.
Absolutely.
And if you want to say a line to the 9th and 10th and to 9th and 11th graders as they will be giving their boards next year, what would it be?
It would be something very similar, and it's not just ninth grade, right? From the beginning, and I think it is more for parents because earlier we've developed habits. They stay with us for much longer time. It's very important that we understand of having a schedule. Every child right from the beginning should have a schedule, that this is going to be, say, maybe a grade 3 child only needs about 20 minutes or 30 minutes to be on the study table, but maybe a grade 9 child would require 2 hours. But a schedule at home is very important, and that's the fixed time where every child knows that I need to be at my study table to study, and that I think is of prime importance. For the same thing for grade 9 and 11, there are no shortcuts to success. Work hard right from the beginning and do have a schedule, and do take care of your health as well. Today's generation, there's one thing that I feel is that a new concept that we are night birds, we can only study at night, and we like to sleep in the morning. There's a reason why the almighty has made night for all of us to sleep, morning for all of us to work, and with all of that, a good diet, very important. Today's generation, again, I mean, when they are studying, I can only study if I'm binging. I have a packet of chips with me. These are certain things, and science proves it, that when our concentration, our focus, everything gets diluted, more we are on these packet food or sweets. So that's something that I would like to suggest to all the youngsters.
Thank you so much, ma'am. As a 9th grader, I really relate to it. As we continue, we have often heard that a teacher is like a second mother to the child. How would you like to describe this bond between a teacher and a student?
I completely agree with it. And if I go back into years and I look at myself as a teacher, I think the most important thing that a teacher needs to have with the student is the connect. You can only, so I mean, I'm sure you are in grade 9. If you also go back, there'll be a particular subject that you had a particular love for. That was not because the subject was very interesting, that was because that teacher made that subject very interesting for you. So, and the teacher could make it interesting because she could develop that bond with or connect with children. So it's very important that the teacher develops that connect with students, have that bond for the children to have a complete understanding of what she's trying to teach them. That's one thing. And also, I mean, I honestly feel today, for content delivery, we do not need teachers. you want to say a grade 5 child wants to learn a Pythagoras theorem, he probably can just Google and there'll be 50 videos with step by step why it is there and what is the reason, and then some 100 worksheets to practice. And I think then you don't need a teacher. You need a teacher because it's not about only content, it is how you connect with your students and how gets delivered to the students. So for me, education is all about human connect. Otherwise, machines are there for the content delivery. So that connect is very, very important for me.
That's lovely to hear, ma'am. We relate to it so much. So, following up to that, what expectations do you have for today's generation of students in the ever-changing world?
Well, I'm a very positive person and I'm very optimistic. I really draw a lot of inspiration by today's generation, today's youth. I'm also very thankful. If you look at all the technology that has come up that we are the end user of, it's them who've given us to us. I mean, I'm only using it, right? They were the ones who are developing it and giving it to us. That's one. So I feel, we have a very bright world and a future ahead with these young ones stepping into their careers. And all I can say is that it's very important for the youth to just keep in mind that, as I said, that whatever they do, in whichever field, if they put their heart into it and integrity is there, I think it's a beautiful world waiting for all of us.
We completely agree on that, ma'am. So, as we follow up, you are a remarkable leader yourself. So, what qualities do you see in the upcoming youth who are looking forward to become leaders in different aspirations?
Thank you so much first for your kind words. But I honestly feel one thing that is very, very important for a leader, be it any field, is humility. The more we grow in life, more humility is what is required. So that's one thing that I feel, and that is my suggestion to all the youth, that never let that arrogance step into you that, I've arrived. Keep that spark of learning alive. Always there is scope of learning for everyone, each one of us. So that's one. And second quality that I feel that every leader must have is empathy. Empathy to the people who are working with you, or rather all stakeholders. So that's one quality that every leader should have. I often say this, a leader is best known for its quality, his or her qualities. If you have enough and more leaders within your team and you are not required in the system anymore, then probably you've done your job best.
I couldn't agree more with it, ma'am. So, coming up to the last question of the day, what work ethics do you want to see in the school?
For my school, of course, I have a big vision, but if it comes to work ethics, a few things are very, very close to my heart. And if I have to break it down, I've already spoken a lot about integrity. That is one major thing for me, that in whichever field, so I have transport, I have housekeeping, I have teaching, there's so many, whatever we are doing, if we do it with full integrity, I think we'll grow as an organization even to greater heights. That's one. Second, what is especially in a school system where we have so many different departments working together, what is required is collaboration, a team spirit, that it is not about my department or your department, it is about the school as a whole, as MRIS 46. So collaboration, again, team, being one team, one dream, that's again one thing that I look at. Another very, very important aspect for which sometimes I get very disturbed also, and not with my school, I'm talking in the context, but Indians are usually trolled for not keeping to time, that we don't have value for time. That's one thing that is with me, that we must value each other's time. We must value time. So if there is an event at 9, it must start at 9. We shouldn't be waiting for anybody. There shouldn't be any chief guest for whom we have to wait for another 30-40 minutes. So value for time is also another very important thing, and we should value everybody's time, including Didi, Bhaiya, grade 4 staff, anybody in this system. So that's again a very important thing.
Those were really wise words, ma'am. Thank you so much for lending us your time today, ma'am. We are really grateful and inspired by hearing your journey. And with this, we wrap up for today. But don't worry, Media Shala will return with more awe-inspiring stories and interesting anecdotes. This is Media Shala team of Sector 46 signing off.